welcome to this edition of Steelers Weekly. Tonight you'll see some of the best content from Steelers.com that aired throughout the week. Let's get started.
He's sacked back inside the 40. TJ Watt and Bud Dupree ran right up his back. Big rush, he's hit, and the ball is out, and the Steelers have it. TJ Watt has it on the sack and stripped by Bud Dupree.
Being an outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers is fill in the blank.
Fun.
That's it?
I would say it's physical, and it's splash was what we always talk about, is just being the splash players, and in a 3-4 system like Pittsburgh, and obviously having the linebacker tradition that we have here, we just want to create splash and wreak as much havoc as we possibly can.
Knowing the history of the successful outside linebacker tandems, is there pressure too?
No, I won't say pressure. It just makes us try to go hard. A lot of guys to look up to. A lot of stuff that we can look forward and accomplish.
We have to say congratulations to you, AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Does that mean anything, or is it just kind of on to the next game?
Oh yeah,
yes, it means something.
Yeah, it's always a good attribute. It's always good to have. It's fun, it's exciting to be recognized. But we got to go on to the next week.
All right, I like that we're sitting down with both of you. I like your relationship. Okay,
Yeah.
Off the field, I get a chance to see a little bit more than maybe fans do, and on the field. So how would you describe the tandem of Bud and TJ?
I think we epitomize what football is all about, and I think we come from two totally separate upbringings and backgrounds and everything like that, but we truly love the game of football, and we've grown close through our respect for each other and each other's willingness to grow in the game and in the system. And we see each other work hard day in and day out, not only in season, off season, and in the film room and everything. So I think we are each other's biggest fans. As far as when he makes a play, I'm super happy. When I make a play, he's super happy for me. And I think that's what's helping us have a positive environment here to help us grow.
Is there such thing as a healthy competition, though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we compete at practice. TJ goes out and run like a 20-mile-per-hour a day. So it just makes me want to go try to run the same thing. It's fun though. I'm excited. I'll be excited every time TJ makes a play. I'm excited when he does Superman-like plays. It's just fun for me.
All right, do you guys have a nickname for yourselves? No.
We got nothing.
Do you want me to see if the fans can have any suggestions for you, or are you happy just being Bud and TJ?
We can see what they come up with, but yeah, I don't know. Julius Campbell and I was thinking Gary Brutier from Friday Night Live. I remember the Titans, that's about it.
That's all it is.
Big rush. He's hit, and he's sacked back near the 20-yard line. TJ Watt comes up with it.
Brissett on the move, caught from behind by Bud Dupree on the chase down.
I would like you each, TJ, you can go first. Tell me what Bud is really good at and what you maybe admire about what he does.
First and foremost, Bud is a freak athlete. He talks about me running 20 miles an hour, and he wants to top it. Bud can top it whenever the heck he wants to. He can run, he can fly, and I think his first step is incredible, and just the intangible things like his work ethic and the way that he's approaching each and every day. He's the AFC Defensive Player of the Week this week. I think that's a huge accomplishment, but a lot of that stuff is behind the scenes that nobody gets to see, and it's truly special for me to be able to see him grow in just the short time that I've been here, and the hard work is paying off for him, and I'm super happy for him.
All right, vice versa, what do you got?
TJ coming in right away, I always say his hand usage is like one of the best we've ever seen. It's insane. He does a great job of doing pass rush moves on people, and it's just exciting to see his moves actually work from the practice field to the game field. Every week he's doing something, he's out and he's going up out there and showing up. When he was a rookie, a lot of people on the team, you probably never told TJ this, but he was a rookie on the team. The first game we played, Cleveland, he was ragdolling people. Hands usage on point each and every play, and then from that day on, we just knew that TJ was a little different.
You didn't even tell him good job?
No, definitely said good job.
What's Bud's best move?
Bud's got the nice cross chop, but I think the speed, he can do anything with the speed. I think that's what a lot of the tackles are feeling right now.
run the ball away from him and hurt the defense that way. And they're going to have to attack the cornerback not named Jalen Ramsey. There's some alternatives, but Aaron Donald's going to make this problematic.
Here was this week's edition of Agree to Disagree. Hi, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Agree to Disagree, the show with the motto,
He's right. He's wrong.
They're wrong.
oh boy.
Wrong.
Statement number one. Indianapolis
Where's
was
that
the
cute puppy that was
biggest
here last
win
week?
of the first
They
half.
had to put it down.
Pursuta, you're first.
I'm going to disagree. Big win, but I think the Chargers game was the biggest win of the year. And I say that knowing two things, that Indianapolis is a better team than the Chargers and that the Chargers beat Indianapolis. Welcome to the NFL 2019. But I go back to that Chargers game, and at 1-4, coming off of that agonizing loss to the Ravens, the Steelers really needed to stop the bleeding. And they not only stopped it against the Chargers, they did so in impressive fashion with their third starting quarterback of the season, Devlin Hodges. The defense was dominant. Again, I get that the Chargers were really struggling offensively. Phillip Rivers was throwing sideways to Aaron Eckler more than Mason Rudolph to Jalen Samuels. But the Steelers dominated defensively. They got the running game going with not one but two guys, James Conner and Benny Snell. They really took that game and wrapped their hands around it and strangled it. The Colts game was a big win. It goes in the one-loss record as a W, but I think that was more the Colts losing than it was the Steelers winning.
All right, Labs.
I'm going to disagree with Mike, and I'm going to agree with the statement. And I'm going to go back to something that Mike said as the basis for my argument. Indianapolis is a better team than San Diego.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's right, Los Angeles. The Chargers. They'll always be San Diego to me. But anyway, beating good teams is something that the Steelers really hadn't done up until their matchup against the Colts at Heinz Field. And moving forward, if you want to be in contention, for the playoffs and maybe even get into them, beating good teams is something that you're going to have to be able to do. The Colts are not the will-o'-the-wisp, slappy bunch on defense that they had been in the previous couple of years. They are much more than just Andrew Luck, who didn't even play in this game, and in fact is done with his NFL career. And so what the challenge that the Colts placed on the Steelers was more of a well-rounded, full team challenge. And hey, I'm here to tell you, missing field goals do count as losses, as we all experienced last year.
All right.
One thing on it, he gets downgraded for calling him San Diego, but upgraded for using will of the wisp.
Okay, all right. Statement number two,
I hope
guys.
the judge is listening to you.
If you can't block number 99, you can't beat LA. Labs, you're first.
Agree. I mean, he is the bell cow on defense. He is I believe, the leader of that football team on the field. And because of the way he plays, the way he dominates games, I'm sure that he is the leader in that locker room as well. Aaron Donald, usually, if you line up as close to the football as Aaron Donald does, and you cannot be blocked, there is nothing that offense can do in terms of either running the ball, trying to throw the ball, anything that he is not able to disrupt. They move him around to keep it as difficult as possible to double team this guy. Aaron Donald is a player of the year. He could have been MVP in a different league if they always didn't want to give it to the quarterbacks. Aaron Donald is job number one for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday.
Pursuta?
Just the way the statement is worded, I'm going to disagree because I don't think Aaron Donald can be blocked. I'm going to go into Sunday under the assumption that he won't be blocked. Therefore, you got to find another way to beat the Rams. And since they're, 5-3, Somebody's beating him, and I don't think he's been stopped really all year. This guy's phenomenal. He might be the best player in the game, and really what his true value, I think, is that you have to double team him every time, and that sets up 3 one-on-one matchups across the rest of the front four for the Rams, and that allows them to play coverage, and it allows them to do a lot of things. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you can't let Aaron Donald wreck the game, but blocking him, they're not going to get that done. They're going to have to win those other 3 one-on-ones. They're going to have to run the ball away from him and hurt the defense that way. And they're going to have to attack the cornerback not named Jalen Ramsey. There's some alternatives, but Aaron Donald's going to make this problematic.
It's really big for us. It's the one time a year that we ask for donations and to celebrate our foundation. The proceeds of tonight's event goes to all the good that we try to do in the community.
Boys and Girls Clubs, particularly here in Western Pennsylvania, has been around over 130 years. And to just keep our mission going and have supporters like Hayward Health help us do that is going to allow us to serve even more kids and communities in Western PA.
We're in an unbelievable situation where we can give back. And we can have that effect on our community. It's not just our duty, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy making sure that our future is in a good place.
We are getting ready for the LA Rams to come to Heinz Field on Sunday at 4:25. It is time for your keys to the game, presented by your neighborhood Ford store. I'm Missy Matthews, joined as always by Tunch Ilkin and Arthur Moats. 3 in a row, so we all know what that means. Arthur goes first.
Yeah. All right, man. No pressure, right? Keep the streak alive. Right. And with that being said, Bud Dupree, TJ Watt. Those are the guys that are going to have big games. Continue to pressure Jared Goff. We've seen on film when Goff is pressured, he makes bad throws. He's been intercepted 7 times. He's been sacked 12 times as well.
Right.
Bud Dupree and TJ Watt, they're on a tear right now.
Yeah.
Continue that this week.
And I agree with you. Arthur, one of the things is because Arthur Bud and TJ are coming from the edge, but the center and 2 guards are a little weaker than the tackles.
Absolutely.
So, when Cam gets a push and Javon gets a push, and you know how they've been moving TJ around, and one of the things that as you pointed out, when you get into Jared Goff's face, he starts to panic a little.
He does.
And when he's going to throw the ball downfield, it's usually play action pass, and he's usually max protection because they don't trust their offensive line.
Absolutely. And speaking of Cam Hayward, he's coming off a big performance versus All-Pro in last week, so he's definitely ready to have another top performance this week.
Oh, he's going to be great. Well, my key is, Missy, is to run the ball. One of the things you don't want to get is behind the chains against these guys, because Aaron Donald and Dante Fowler and Clay Matthews and Brocker, they're all great pass rushers. And what the style that they play is a penetrating style. They play the run on the way to the quarterback. And Aaron Donald, as relentless as a pass rusher is, when the ball's going away from him, and sometimes when the ball's coming at him, he stops.
Yes.
You notice
I mean,
that?
it's on film. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He stops, and I think when you get the ball out quickly, when you run the ball effectively against these guys, and the Bengals ran it down our throat.
did.
Yeah, and if the Bengals can run it down their throat,
we can run it down their throat.
So get the wins on first down, whether it's a quick throw or whether it's running the ball, and just keep moving those chains.
And you hit on it too with the quick throws. It doesn't always have to be the traditional handing the ball off.
Right.
Some of these quicker throws can substitute and operate as pseudo run plays as well.
Right, yeah.
All right, I'm sticking with the Steelers offense for my key. I feel like this was my key a few weeks ago, but you have to involve the Steelers wide receivers, even the tight ends like Vance McDonald and Nick Vanette. We saw it with Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson against the Miami game. Last week, not so much. Jalen Samuels was the team's leading receiver with 13 catches. You don't want that. You can tell that this group of wide receivers, they are raring to get the ball. We saw Mason Rudolph and James Washington connect last week, but you got to get some other guys involved as well.
You know, and Missy, to your point, I agree with you, and I think that every game that Mason plays, he gets better.
Yes.
And every game, every rep that he takes, he sees the field a little better. He sees the coverage. He sees everything a little better. And I'm looking for a big game from Mason.
Yeah, me too, man. And like you said with James Washington, can he put together another one of those performances? So that's what I'm thinking he should be able to do this week.
It'll be huge, especially if Jalen Ramsey is following Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yes.
whoever that other guy is.
Yeah, the other guy is not nearly as good as Jalen Ramsey.
There you go. All right, that is going to do it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week with our keys to the game.
We'll have a running back on the field, and we'll expect those guys to deliver for us. We've been challenged in that way this year, and at every turn it seemed like guys have had an opportunity to stand and deliver. Benny Snell had a big half or so a couple of weeks back.
They move around, they get their playmakers the ball fast, you know, and they're a real energetic team. I mean, they played in the Super Bowl not too long ago, so they know they're a good team, you know.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Steelers Live. We have your status report for the Steelers heading into the Rams game on Sunday, 4:25 kickoff. And unfortunately, there are already 4 players who have been ruled out by head coach Mike Tomlin. You see them there on the screen. Rosie Nix, Benny Snell Jr., James Conner, and Ramon Foster. James Conner and Ramon Foster both practicing in the early part of the week. Unfortunately, taking a step backwards, they are all out. And a new name added to the practice report and status report today is wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. He is dealing with a foot injury. He was limited today on Friday. He is listed, though, as questionable. After practice today, I caught up with head coach Mike Tomlin to talk about the lack of health concerning the running backs.
You know, it is what it is. We'll have a running back on the field, and we'll expect those guys to deliver for us. We've been challenged in that way this year, and at every turn it seemed like guys have had an opportunity to stand and deliver. Benny Snell had a big half or so a couple of weeks back out in L.A. Edmonds had an opportunity to be a major contributor last week. We'll see what this week holds. We don't fear it. We understand the position that we're in, but we fully expect whoever to do it to do a credible job.
All right, this will be the second straight game that Ramon Foster will be missing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, an anchor on that offensive line. Last week against the Colts, B.J. Finney filled in for him at left guard, and there could be some speculation. There could be some musical chairs in terms of the O-line and moving guys around. Here's more from Matt Filer and Chooks Okorafor.
Did they give you a reasoning, or how did they explain why they wanted to move in?
They didn't really give me an explanation. I think they're just trying to try me out in different positions still.
And what's different? How technically is it different for you?
Just switching from right side to left side, just the footwork is a little bit different, and then I just got to flip everything that I know from the right side to the left side of my head.
I would say I've grown a lot just because of seeing everyone kind of grow and seeing me kind of just watching and learning, even if I'm not playing, but like going against like TJ, Watt, Chick, Ola, and every day I can scout here. I think it's really helped me a lot.
All week, and rightfully so, we have been talking about the LA Rams defense. Here is a preview from the Mike Tomlin show of Coach Tomlin on their offense.
You know, it starts first with minimizing Gurley in that running game, and I think you could trace his consistency to the availability or the consistent availability or lack thereof of Gurley. Gurley's the type of guy that can really change the climate when he's available and going. And so when they went on that Super Bowl run, like you mentioned, man, he was really up and running, and less so more recently. And so I think it can be traced to that, but Goff is really talented. He's got an awesome repertoire of receivers. Kupp is going to be really challenging to minimize his impact on the game. He's the type of guy that's really capable of dominating the game, particularly from a possession down standpoint. I think he leads the NFL in third down catches at 21. Robert Woods is a really good complementary receiver. They just got really good depth.
And you can catch the full Mike Tomlin show Saturday night after the late news on KDK TV. It is a big weekend here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is their annual alumni weekend, also celebrating the 40th anniversary of Super Bowl 14. So the Steelers will be wearing their block number throwback jerseys. So a big weekend with the alumni dinner tomorrow night, and all of the honorees will be at the game on Sunday. That is the very latest from inside the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on this edition of Steelers Weekly. We'll see you next time.